Good morning to Missouri. It's Monday, April 2nd, 2018. Thanks for waking up with us.
I think all my neighbors hate me because I was out there scraping my car
Was it
at
so
3 in the
loud?
morning. And you just can't go quiet because you got to put your back into it. So I'm sorry to everyone who lives in a 50-foot radius of where I parked my car.
Or just in general.
Right, exactly.
Living in a radius. Here's temperatures out your door this morning. It is chilly for the second day of April. We're only at 11 degrees. It is 11 degrees right now in Macon. We should normally be waking up to the mid-30s at this point this morning, but the rest of us are in the mid to upper 20s. We're still hanging on to 27 at Jefferson City, Lake of the Ozarks, and in the Rolla area. Winds aren't too bad, but they're just enough to make a lot of us feel like the teens from Macon into Moberly, Columbia, Sedalia, and Herman. So just bundle up. Like Landon said, you will need some time to at least defrost or scrape off your car before you head out this morning. And that's just going to be kind of the theme of the next 4 or 5 hours. You're just going to need to take your time, allow for a little bit of extra time, because even though we are done as far as the rain, the snow, and the sleet are concerned, I mean, there's still going to be some slick spots on the roadways, and some patchy fog is going to be possible for your morning commute as well. So we're going to take a look at what the rest of your day looks like and the rest of the week ahead. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
China is putting new tariffs on some U.S. agricultural imports.
Now, the Chinese government announced a 15% tariff on 120 kinds of American fruit and a 25% tariff on some pork products. The move is a reaction to President Trump's tariffs on Chinese steel and aluminum. The decision could impact American growers and pork producers.
As he punished China, President Trump chose to temporarily exempt many allies from his imposed tariffs, including the European Union, Australia, Argentina, Brazil, and South Korea. Exemptions for Canada and Mexico had previously been announced. All of these countries have threatened retaliation. These exemptions mean the top 4 steel exporters to the U.S. and 4 of the top 7 aluminum exporters will be exempt from tariffs.
A CBS News report found out how much President Trump's campaign spent on Amazon purchases after he attacked the company last week. The campaign spent more than $150,000 in hundreds of transactions classified as office supply purchases. CBS News did not report if the Trump campaign was an Amazon Prime member, which could have given the campaign 2-day delivery for an annual fee. Trump has accused Amazon of scamming the U.S. Postal Service and not paying taxes to state and local governments. Amazon collects sales tax in each state it is required to. It started collecting sales tax in Missouri last year. The president also claims the company is costing the Postal Service billions of dollars and putting thousands of retailers out of business.
President Trump tweeted his latest stance on immigration, declaring, quote, no more DACA deal. The president called on members of the GOP to pass tougher immigration policies, saying the border with Mexico is getting more dangerous. The president threatened Mexico, saying it needs to stop drug and people flows or the U.S. will cut ties with NAFTA. As the announcement comes, more than 1,000 immigrants are marching through Mexico to the U.S. border. They want it to leave Central America and seek asylum in both Mexico and the U.S.
Future visitors to the U.S. might have to give their social media usernames before they can get into the country. The State Department is proposing adding extra questions to the non-immigrant visa application process. This would affect business visitors, international students, and tourists. The local activist says this policy could change Mid-Missouri and make it a less welcoming place.
I don't think that it benefits our society to have an atmosphere of government repression in which you have to be afraid of government reprisals.
Public has the next 2 months to comment on the proposal before the department submits it for approval. If you want to comment, a link on our website will lead you to the right place.
The Secret Service and a Florida sheriff's office is looking into an act of vandalism at President Trump's golf club in West Palm Beach. Someone splattered red paint onto a sign outside the main entrance over the weekend, covering up some of the letters on it. The golf club is fewer than 5 miles from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. President Trump attended Easter services in that area. A picture of White House interns is drawing some criticism on social media. The photo shows President Trump posing with the class of spring 2018 interns. The problem, the 91-member, predominantly white class is not diverse. Many online have pointed this out. The White House has not responded to requests for comment.
The U.S. and South Korea are starting joint military training exercises. More than 11,000 U.S. troops and 300,000 South Korean forces will take part in the planned 4-week exercises. The exercises usually start earlier, but they were delayed because of the Winter Olympics. North Korea promised not to object to the exercises this year as a part in an agreement met to meet with Trump. Kim Jong-un has taken more of a role in international relations since the Winter Olympics. He made his first visit abroad as leader last week to meet with China's president. He also met with the International Olympic Committee President Friday, who announced North Korea will participate in the 2020 and 2022 games. The Japanese defense minister warns North Korea appears to be preparing for another nuclear test.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un watched a performance by South Korean K-pop stars in Pyongyang. State media said the leader was, quote, deeply moved to see our people sincerely acclaiming the performance. The concert took place as the two countries relaxed tensions while still at war. Kim is set to meet with South Korea's president later this month and with President Trump in May. That potential meeting in May will come days after a planned summit at the end of April between North and South Korea. Chinese state media reported last week Kim says he's committed to denuclearization of the Korean peninsula.
Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley will talk about a new investigation into a tech company today. Hawley will hold a news conference this morning. He's looking into allegations of mismanagement of private information. His news release did not name the company involved. Former Missouri Governor Jay Nixon will argue before the state Supreme Court tomorrow in a case involving utility regulations he appointed. He'll say they wrongly rejected a plan for a power line from Kansas to Indiana because of an incorrect court ruling. A judge Nixon appointed made the ruling. Even if the case goes in Nixon's favor, Illinois is currently blocking the project.
Here's what's happening right now. A group of teenagers are honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with a march to Memphis. WTAE reports the middle school, high school, and college students began their 50-mile march Saturday from rural Dundee, Mississippi to mark the 50th anniversary since Dr. King's assassination. The teenagers are expecting to end their journey tomorrow, where they will meet with friends and family on the Tennessee-Mississippi line. Guys?
All right, Landon, thanks.
Black Lives Matter protests will continue in Sacramento this week. The city faces more outrage over the death that killed a black man killed last month by police. Multiple disruptive but peaceful rallies have been held since the shooting, but overall the city has stayed calm. The Sacramento Black Lives Matter group says it will continue to demand justice for all lives unjustly taken by law enforcement. And two Sacramento police officers fatally shot Stephon Clark in his grandmother's backyard on March 18th. He was 22 years old. Officers were responding to a call of someone breaking into cars and thought Clark was holding a gun. Clark was found with only a cell phone. His family requested an independent autopsy, which found Clark was shot in the back 6 times.
Gun violence is continuing to go down in Chicago, a city where it's been an issue for a very long time. Chicago police say March marked the 13th consecutive month of declining killings and shootings. Chicago police attributed the recent declines to hiring more officers, stronger community policing efforts, and investments in technology. So Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says the city still has a long way to go despite the steady progress in Chicago. Trump has criticized Chicago's crime rate multiple times. Trump has talked and tweeted about the failure to fight gun violence there. He's tried to solve the problem by deploying federal authorities to the city.
Chicago's not the only city to see homicides go down lately. Baltimore, a city with one of the highest per capita homicide rates in the country, did not record a homicide for 11 days in February. Now, that's the longest homicide-free period in almost 4 years. Last year, New York recorded its lowest homicide number in decades with 290 killings. That was the lowest since 1951.
Personal information for customers of Saks Fifth Avenue and Lord & Taylor might be compromised after the department store chains found a data breach. Hudson's Bay Company released a statement saying it was aware of a security issue involving consumer credit cards. It says the breach hit North American stores. The company says there's no indication information used to make purchases at the stores is in danger.
Students at Majority Stoneman Douglas High School will return to class today for the first time since the March for Our Lives protest, but they'll face strict security measures. Students will only be allowed to carry clear backpacks and must wear new IDs at all times. There will also be increased police presence in limited points of entry. The district could also consider metal detectors at some point. Thousands of Oklahoma teachers plan to walk out and strike today over their salaries. This follows similar strikes in West Virginia, Arizona, and Kentucky. Oklahoma legislators passed tax measures last week expected to give teachers raises of about $6,100. The National Education Association says Oklahoma teachers are some of the lowest paid teachers in the nation.
Jury selection in Bill Cosby's sexual assault retrial set to begin today. The selection takes place in the middle of the #MeToo movement. Experts say the movement could make potential jurors hostile toward Cosby and make others more likely to think men are unfairly accused. Cosby's last trial ended with a hung jury. The selection will take place in suburban Philadelphia.
An SUV carrying the Washington State family that accelerated straight off a scenic California cliff may have been intentional. In a story we've been following since last week, information pulled from the vehicle's software showed it was stopped at a flat dirt pull-off area before it sped off the steep rocky face and plunged 100 feet. Authorities say that information, along with a lack of skid marks or signs the driver are braked, or the signs driver brake, leading authorities to believe the crash was purposeful.
Former Veterans Affairs Secretary David Shulkin says he was fired from his job after conflicting claims from the White House. A White House spokeswoman said Shulkin resigned from his job after President Trump tweeted his replacement. Shulkin says he did not submit or plan to write a resignation letter. Trump criticized Shulkin's efforts to improve the VA.
Former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson disappeared from the state's department website over the weekend. The Secretary of State Tillerson link on the department's homepage was replaced with a generic Secretary of State tab. His biography returned with an error message, which the department restored. Tillerson's departure happened Saturday.
A wild, entertaining season and one of the maddest marches in college basketball history has reached its pinnacle. Villanova and Michigan, featuring a prolific offense versus a stifling defense, will play tonight for a national college basketball title. Villanova will play for its second title in 3 years and a chance to establish a mini dynasty. The Wolverines are after their first title since 1989, hoping to win after their coach John Beilein coached in the championship game back in 2013.
All right, it does look like we are finally done with the snow for now, but I am tracking several opportunities to see some rainfall and some showers and thunderstorms in your 8-day forecast. So I'll have all of that, plus your week temperatures, coming up right after the break.
The opioid crisis has created a public health emergency across the country, and Missouri is feeling the effects. How a new MU program is using the internet to get rural communities the help they need later in your health.
And a live look at it for mid-Missouri. That's downtown Columbia at 442. KOMU 8 News Today will be right back.
Are you behind on your mortgage? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your house underwater because you owe more than it's worth? Are you considering trying to get a loan modification on your own? Did you know that less than 5% of people who tried on their own actually got a modification? At the Mortgage Modification Helpline, we know the rules and regulations banks don't want you to know about. And we've helped thousands of people stay in their homes. Are you struggling to keep up? Are you past due on your mortgage? If so, we can help. It doesn't matter if you have bad credit, been turned down, or if you're currently getting the runaround from your lender. The call and consultation is free, and it only takes a few minutes to find out if we can help. So call the Mortgage Modification Helpline today, and let's get your loan modified into one you can afford.
Please call 800-470-4219. That is 800-470-4219.
This summer, the Show Me State Games will bring thousands of athletes to Columbia for its 34th year of Olympic-style competition. Join KOMU 8
and the Missouri Lottery and dream big at the 2018 Show Me State Games. More than 20,000 Missouri athletes of all ages will compete to be the Missouri Lottery Athletes of the Year.
Dream big and chase that gold medal in more than 40 sporting events at the Show Me State Games, the weekends of June 8th, July 20th, and 27th. For details, visit smsg.org.
Now, your live Doppler 8 First Alert weather.
Good morning, Mid-Missouri. 444 is your time. We're going to start off with a live look over the Jefferson City area. We are finally, like I said before the break, done with the snowfall. However, we're still seeing a few really slick spots on anything that was untreated or really wasn't driven a whole bunch yesterday. So areas of Highway 63 are actually pretty good at this point. Interstate 70 is actually pretty good as well. Our main issue, other than those slick spots this morning, is going to be some fog and some actually freezing fog at that, while our temperatures are well below that 32 degrees. degree mark. So keep in mind that on top of what we already saw yesterday and overnight last night could still provide us some slick spots this morning. So actually visibility-wise, that and some of those lower level clouds is actually down to 1 mile ahead or less for Moberly, Mexico, naked. And I think all of us will see some of that patchy fog at least at some point this morning. And it's going to be freezing fog at that, especially for folks, like I said, well north of I-70. I mean, check out our temperatures. We're anywhere from about 22 in Kansas City to 26 near the St. Louis area. Now, that system has, of course, pushed well off to our south and east at this point. The stalled out frontal boundary off to our west is going to lift north and northeast as a warm front overnight tonight. So our overnight low temperatures this evening, or we can technically call them your morning temperatures tomorrow, are actually going to be warmer than our afternoon temperatures today. I'm going to dive into that more here in just a little bit. But right now, fortunately, we are dry, of course, hanging on to some of those lower lying clouds and, of course, some of that fog out there. But actually, most of the day, other than the fact that it's going to be really overcast, we should be dry, with the exception of a few really, really light sprinkles this afternoon and early on this evening. But the warm front itself doesn't start to lift on through until our evening hours. So along and ahead of that, again, we might be talking about a couple of really light spotty showers overnight tonight. Otherwise, it's not really until the trailing cold front behind that system moves through in the afternoon that I think we have some better opportunity to see some isolated showers and thunderstorms. So talking this time tomorrow morning, I think we're going to be dealing with some really light to moderate rainfall activity. It's not going to be very organized, like I said, until later on into the afternoon. You can see once that cold front starts to push on through, it could kick up a couple of really isolated thunderstorms. Really no severe weather to talk about tomorrow, with the exception maybe of some strong gusty winds. I think even when we're not seeing this frontal passage, we could see gusts up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So we're going to continue to keep you updated on that. But this is going to be a really quick moving system. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of rain out of the warm frontal passage or the cold frontal passage behind it. And then cooler, and drier air is going to take its place on Wednesday. So even though we do warm back into the 50s tomorrow, temperatures on Wednesday are back into the 40s. But at least fortunately, it does look like we're going to see a little bit of extra sunshine out there. And like I said, with how quickly this system moves, this is not looking like a great rainmaker for a lot of us at this time compared to what we talked about last week. I think on average, we see maybe about 1/4 of an inch. And then where you get stuck under some of those heavier showers, maybe up to a full 1/2 inch of rainfall can be expected. Otherwise, check out our temperatures today. Under that cloudy sky, highs only make it back to about 44 degrees. And then overnight tonight, like I said, we warm. So this time tomorrow morning, temperatures are actually going to be back in the upper 40s and some lower 50s. And from there, we climb to a high near 57 degrees on your Tuesday. But that high temperature is actually going to come in the late morning and early afternoon hours. We actually cool behind that once the cold front passes through. And like I said, colder, drier air replaces it for Wednesday. That's going to be our next day that is filled with sunshine before the clouds and the rain chances roll back in for this upcoming weekend.
The opioid epidemic has left communities all over the nation without the funding to try to solve it. It's true for rural communities in Missouri as well. A new MU program fights the opioid crisis hours away from Columbia.
It's 4:48. You're looking live over Mid-Missouri. KOMU 8 News today. We'll be right back.
Pleasant interruptions, a phone call from an old friend, finding out you've won a prize. Bad interruptions, allergies, and asthma. Columbia Allergy and Asthma Specialist tests for a wide range of allergies and treats you with your custom plan so that your symptoms go away. Flowers, pets, changing seasons, you can enjoy them. We'd like to help. Go to breatheeasyandlivefree.com or call for an appointment.
Columbia Allergy and Asthma Specialist. Has your AC busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW, American Residential Warranty.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty. Home appliance repairs and replacement can cause stress and cost you over $3,000 per year. But ARW has home warranty plans starting at less than $1 a day.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. It was so hot, I called ARW ARW, and they came out and fixed it right away.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more. All plans are fully customizable and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and get a home security system free with any plan. Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
Call or log on to getahomeplan.com to find out which home warranty plan is right for you.
Hey, Columbia, it's time for a little spring cleaning. Join KOMUA for Clean Up Columbia on Saturday, April 14th. Every year, more than 1,500 volunteers come together with their neighbors, coworkers, and friends to clean up Columbia's streets, streams, parks, and trails. Volunteers are of all ages and abilities. You can request to work in a specific area of town. Come help us make our city a more beautiful place. And then afterwards, join us for lunch at Twin Lakes Park. You can register for Clean Up Columbia at como.gov. Here's what's happening right now. Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai left Pakistan today, ending her first visit to her home country since she was shot by the Taliban for promoting girls' education. Yousafzai said she had waited for this visit for more than 5 years and said she would often look at Pakistan on the map, longing to return. She said she had so much joy seeing her family and home, visiting her friends, and putting her feet on the soil again. She's now on her way back to London. Guys?
Thanks, Landon. The opioid epidemic is hitting Missouri hard, but a program called Show Me Echo is connecting rural towns and Columbia doctors to try and fight it. It uses video conferencing to help numerous communities with limited resources handle the crisis. The MU School of Medicine developed the program, which involves therapists, pharmacologists, primary care doctors, and physicians.
They enter into a learning collaborative where it's friendly, where they can ask their questions, where they can present their patients and come up with a strategy that makes sense, that will really help that patient.
Up to 20 specialists can participate at one time in the program from a room at MU.
Compared to other states, Missouri is well over the national average in opioid overdose deaths. The state ranks 19th in the country. 1 out of every 66 deaths is related to opioid or heroin overdoses. The Department of Health and Senior Services reports more than 900 Missourians died of this cause in 2016. But those statistics might not be accurate. A review of death certificates from 1999 to 2015 found investigators do not always specify a drug in overdoses. 15% of death certificates in Missouri did not attribute specific drugs in 2016. It's even worse in other states. A recent study says the U.S. undercounts opioid-related overdoses by as much as 35%.
The opioid crisis has left many wondering where the money will come from to fix it, but one Arkansas lawsuit thinks it has the answer. The suit wants 52 opioid manufacturers and 13 distributors to pay. It brings together all 75 counties in the state to accuse them. They say companies falsely touted the benefits of long-term opioid use without good evidence. Some companies named in the suit have denied the allegations but have not filed a response. And you're looking live over the Lake of the Ozarks. The time is 4:52. KOMU8 News Today. We'll be right back.
Get to know Dr. Latricia Thomas.
I have a family practice here in Columbia, and I enjoy treating children and adults from regular checkups to dentures.
A concerned partner in your dental health.
It's my job to make you look and feel your best.
A reputation built on trust.
Every patient's different. We work with you to try to tailor a treatment to your needs.
Expert, accomplished, empathetic.
I know going to the dentist for a lot of patients is very stressful, so I try to make every appointment as comfortable and informative as possible.
Dr. Thomas at Thomas Family Dental, now accepting new patients.
Our commitment is reflected in the quality of our products. We believe it's the pride in our work that makes Window World America's largest exterior remodeler. We stand behind our promise of providing you great service at great prices. Need windows, doors, or siding? We've got you covered. All backed by a lifetime warranty. Window World, simply the best for less.
It begins with a spark, which blossoms into an idea that is nurtured by the brightest minds in medicine. It becomes a promising option that provides light to patients who had none. And once the light is released, it spreads rapidly. This is the power of academic medicine. The University of Kansas Health System is uniquely committed to bringing its illumination to everyone in this region and beyond. Why would you go anywhere else?
Are you tired of paying expensive cable or satellite bills month after month? Now you see them. Now you don't. You don't need expensive cable or satellite anymore. All you need is the free TV key from Clear TV. Now you can watch your favorite broadcast network shows for free. The free TV key hides behind your TV and is easy. Just plug it into your TV's cable input. No wires, no unsightly antennas. Your television will instantly receive top-rated network shows, local news and weather, sporting events, and more, all for free in vivid HD and digital signal. There's no contracts, no monthly fees, and no unexpected rate increases. Call or go online now to get your free TV key HD digital antenna for just $19.99. Order right now and you can add a second free TV key. Just pay separate processing and handling. That's 2 free TV keys, a $40 value, all for only $19.99. Not available in stores. Order now.
Now, your live Doppler 8 First Alert weather.
All right, welcome back. We're coming up on 4:56 this Monday morning. Hopefully, at least a few of us enjoyed a winter wonderland that we saw on your Easter Sunday. And let's talk about how likely that actually is. On Easter Sunday, as far as Columbia, Missouri is concerned, we only have a 4% chance that we're going to see some measurable snowfall. The last event that we saw before yesterday was just a trace, really, really minor amount, and that was set back in 2008. Our last more measurable snowfall was actually back in 1961, only coming up at about 0.7 of an inch. And then the maximum snowfall that's ever been recorded in Columbia, Missouri is actually just over 4.5 inches, and that was set all the way back in 1920. So Columbia yesterday came up with about 0.3 of an inch, and as far as the actual liquid equivalent of that precipitation, only about 1/10 of an inch. And that was pretty uniform across most of the mid-Missouri area. Check out our temperatures. Yesterday was not very pleasant. 35 for a high, 25 for a low. On average, we should be normally back to around 61 for a high and 39 for an overnight low. But it was good to see some precipitation. I mean, check out the updated drought outlook. We are out of drought conditions finally for areas of Springfield and then down to the south, actually the eastern half of our KOMU 8 viewing area. And as far as the rest of us are concerned, from the western half near the Kansas City area, we're still majority only in that D0 abnormally dry conditions. And we still have several opportunities for rainfall, for particularly overnight tonight and throughout the rest of the day tomorrow. We also have more rain chances on the way for this upcoming weekend. So we're going to talk about that in a little more detail coming up in a few minutes. Landon?
Thank you, Tori. Here's what's happening right now. Today, the White House is opening the gates for its biggest social event of the year, the annual Easter egg roll. President Donald Trump and wife Melania are hosting today's festivities on the South Lawn for an expected crowd of nearly 30,000 people. Now, that's larger than last year when the White House said it was expecting 21,000 attendees. The First Lady announced this year lawn bowling has been added to a roster of festivities. The White House Easter egg roll dates back to 1878.
I would love to see Donald Trump lawn bowl.
Yeah, I was actually looking up what lawn bowling is. Apparently, it's pretty similar to bocce ball, but not quite.
Okay.
Who knew?
Thanks, Landon.
The time is 4:58. You're looking live over Jefferson City. KOMU 8 News Today will be right back.